Hello everyone, it's Jenny. I'm here to make the taco rice. The reason I haven't been able to do it this past Monday is because of personal reasons. I haven't been feeling very good, and that's pretty much it. But I've got everything set up. I've got green peppers, red peppers, and onions. Red onions, that is. And this is generally the rice that I use. It's either the brown rice or the brown and wild rice, and then I just use a generic brand taco seasoning mix. And of course, the tortillas by Mission. Super soft. Best kind there is for it. You never ever want to forget cheese. Where's that cheese? Alright, so I've got everything set and ready. So, let's get started. I usually use between 2 and 3 cups of water, and right now it shows on there about 3. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it's about 3 cups. So, let's go ahead and get the rice in there. I can set that down and start working on this. So, this rice, dang it, this rice comes in a little container. This is the kind of fully cooked, ready to go kind of rice that I like to use. So, as you can see, this is pretty much already cooked and stuff. Usually I would, put it in the microwave or something, but I'm not. So, this is just going right into the pan. Yes, there will be a little bit left, but who cares? It's just a meager amount comparatively. And then, of course, the second one. Don't forget, this is minute ready serve rice. Let me get that spoon out of the way. So, it's a ready serve brown rice. You can also get it in the brown and wild rice, which is actually my favorite version of it. I just grabbed what I could at the store. I usually go to Kroger's because of their deals. So, that's done. And, let's see. So there's a good amount of rice in there. You'll want to add the water in there now. It's going to be quite a bit, but it'll cook down as you go. Turn that on high. Don't want anything to melt, obviously. But see, I have this on high. And now, to get some of this out of the way, so we can work on everything else, next will be the taco seasoning. The green pepper, red pepper, and red onions are optional, but I usually put them in. And usually I would have something like meat crumbles, which is a meat substitute for some folks. I believe that it works. Who cares? It just works out for me. And the reason that I use 3 cups instead of like 1 cup or less of water for the taco seasoning is because of how salty it is. That's the reason for it. And yes, it will look weird when you first start, but just let it start cooking, and it'll get better. I know it doesn't look great right now, but best way to get it to sink into the rice is to let it cook in it. And it may already be fully cooked, but once it's done, it'll be nice and soft, and it'll almost taste exactly like something you'd get at, like, Chi-Chi's or some Mexican restaurant, or Americanized Mexican restaurant, I should say. This is definitely a lot better than Taco Bell, in my personal opinion. And to that extent, you can actually use the packets. I don't remember where I put them, but you can use the actual packets that you would get at like Taco Bell to put on top of this. Now this is going to take a few minutes, so while that's happening, I will return. So, be back in about, 5-10 minutes. You'll see the raw back, and it's starting to thicken up a little bit. I have this on, a little bit, well, it's mostly on medium right now. I'm probably going to put it on medium-high heat for right now. But it doesn't take very long for this to thicken up, even a little bit, because it's starting to thicken up, as you can see. It may not look like it's thickening perfectly, but it is. I would just like to point out that any sort of ready rice would actually be good. It doesn't matter if it's generic brand or not. I just prefer using the ready-to-go kind because it takes less time to work with. Instead of taking 20 minutes, this only takes about 10 or so. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting the green peppers, the onions, and the red peppers, or red onions in there just yet. I'll probably wait until this is just a little bit thicker. And while that's doing that, you can, get some things ready, like the tortillas, get the taco nacho cheese ready, and if you have any of the Taco Bell sauce stuff, which I don't know where mine went. So right now, it's pretty much MIA. But this is a very, very good alternative to fast food. And considering how much salt is actually in the taco seasoning, the water is good to dilute that. Now, unless you know how to make, taco seasoning from scratch, this is just the better alternative temporarily. But, hey, it's delicious, it's good, and it's pretty damn healthy. And I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that it's a lot brighter in here, or brighter in general, since the last video. The main reason for that is, 1, I'm not using my laptop, 2, I'm using my digital camera, and 3, there's a new light in the kitchen. It's quite pretty. Anyways, as you can see, it's thickening up almost enough for me to put that in there. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit more. I'm trying to think of what to make next week. I don't know if I'm going to make a savory dish or a sweet dish. Let me know in the comments on an easy thing to make. I'm also thinking about making fried green tomatoes at some point. And at one point, probably something with avocados on a sandwich, because why not? This is a point where I would say yellow, but it doesn't apply, I guess. But considering I don't like the term yellow, I'll just say yellow for the sandwich thing, because I don't know if it'll actually taste good or not. So, freaking yellow. Yes, I absolutely abhor that terminology. You only live once. Life is the longest thing that you do. Living, I should say. Living is the longest thing that you'll ever do in your life. And swag, just to put this out there, swag is not a lifestyle. Swag is a means of walking for a man. Just putting that out there. So, just remember, folks. And I'm only saying this because I actually read up on this stuff. And I don't think that people who don't understand the terminology should use it unless they absolutely know. That's all. And see, this is getting thicker and thicker because, as you can see from the line here on the pan, which is probably going to be hard to clean later, but at some point it'll be better. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on almost high heat. Let's see. What else did I want to tell you guys about? Oh yeah, I am going to be starting a third channel, as I might have said in my first video on Jenni and baking, or Jenni and cooking. I can't remember the title of my second channel already. But I am thinking about another channel for movie and book reviews. Like one book review one week and then a movie review the next. And it doesn't matter what titles, that would include Disney, stupid romance comedies, etc., etc. But yeah, just let me know what you think of that idea, and I will see about, starting that channel as soon as possible, probably within the next week or so. I still haven't fully figured out the details for that, but I will probably be using my laptop for that, unless I can find a way to set up my iPod, or just, use my digital camera again. The digital camera might be easier to work with, I don't know necessarily, but, oh, this is just about ready for me to put this in. So as I've got this divided, I have the red onion, the red pepper, and the green pepper. Red peppers are pretty good, actually, and I prefer them in there as much as I can. One second while I finish getting that on there, and also, darn it, also to fix the plate up for this. Now, as you can tell, it is getting a lot thicker and more delicious looking. I'm not sure how many of you actually would eat something like this. This is just something that I sort of MacGyvered, I guess you would call it. MacGyvered it in putting together haphazardly. Now, I love tacos. I gotta say that I like Taco Bell too, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to be perfect. I would recommend using small tacos versus big tacos, and I would avoid using hard taco shells, because if you have teeth problems, the crispier stuff is going to be something you'd want to avoid. Just setting that out there. But the soft taco is actually pretty good for this rice, considering. So, yeah. I would suggest using small or super soft small tortillas. Your choice of tacos, obviously, but I prefer the super soft kind because it's easy to just fold over, and if you need to, you can microwave it for like 10 seconds, then it'll be nice and heated. Most of it would be heated anyways by the food, which is almost done, and look how beautiful that came out so far. I have not made this in about 2 months, the taco rice, because I got sick of it for a while. But this is a good meal to make at the end of a month if you're low on money too. It doesn't cost more than about $5, maybe less. And it can go for about 2 weeks, depending on how well you can keep it, and depending on your method of keeping food. Like in the freezer, or the fridge, or whatever. And this would also be good at a themed party. It's generally mild unless you go for these spicier variations of taco seasoning. So I would make sure to either go mild or a step up, just in case if you are doing a party theme or something. Just, putting that out there. And I wouldn't recommend putting anything else in here if you can help it, unless you're absolutely in the mood to. I would normally put the crumbles in there as a meat alternative, because I don't eat meat very often. It's mostly because of what I've heard in the news about beef recalls and stuff like that. I try to avoid beef and some other meats. I'm not a seafood person, so you will not be seeing any seafood on this channel. It's mostly going to be my versions of certain meals and stuff like that. But as you can see, it is getting thicker and thicker, which is what we want. I will return in about, another 5-10 minutes. So, yeah. Okay, so we're at the home stretch. You can see that it's pulling from the pan a little bit. It didn't take 5 minutes as I thought it would, which I'm kind of happy about, because it would vary between stoves, obviously. But I'm pretty sure that you guys wish you had smell-o-vision. This is delicious smelling right now. I would recommend letting this sit for about 5 minutes while you prepare everything else, like strings, plates, forks if need be. Hell, you could even put this in something that you could sit and stand and then eat out of before you eat the shell of it. At one point I might do something like that, I don't know. But see how this is? It is quite low, but you can see almost a cup is gone. That's a good thing in this case, because this is done, more or less. It only takes about 10 minutes or so to make. I've showed you each step of this, and I made sure to show you the stages so that you would know what to look for and how to prepare it. It's not very hard. It's one of those lazy meals almost, because you could almost sit and forget this. Almost. But of course I don't recommend it unless you're working with a slow cooker. Now you could probably make this in the slow cooker, and that's fine. You can use like a small slow cooker or something to make this for family or something. And I would recommend putting this on the back burner so that it doesn't keep cooking. But that is more or less done. I would let it sit for a few minutes. And what I normally do with the soft tacos is I would take some of the cheese and I'd put it on there first beforehand. But that's just me because I'm weird. But yeah, I would use, hang on, I need to switch these over to appropriate spots here. Well, I could show one at a time, I guess. Now, I would use a small handful, at least, to put a small layer of cheese on here. Just spread it out kind of evenly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you'll want something like this, and then you can put the rice on top, which I will show you in a minute. But I need to set up the other taco. You don't want too much, a small handful, about that much. You don't want too much on there because some people are probably like intolerant per se. I myself am lactose intolerant, but I love cheese. So it's kind of counteracting the actual thing that's supposed to be done. I apologize for that. But yeah, just let the rice sit for a few minutes. Let it get all yummy. And then once you're ready, I will demonstrate with this first one, because God knows you want to see it. Put a good amount in there. Let's just say a little bit more than that, because you'd want a good amount of the rice and the other yumminess. Now, if it's pretty loaded, the taco, you will want, see, this is loaded right here. You would want a fork, at least. But I need to transfer this to a smaller plate, because why would you eat it on such a large plate? Especially if you didn't need to. Now, that is done. Don't need any more on that. This one is ready to go. And I'll make one more and work on that real quick. This one happens to be my own taco shell, because I make one for my mother and I make one for myself because I like it. I like tacos. Probably a little too much at times, but who cares? Alright, so fold it over again. If you put too much in there, who cares? You got a fork you can use. And always make sure that your hair is tied back, because you don't want to get any hairs in your food. And as the Russian hacker would say, safety is #1 priority. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Taco rice. Perfect for taco days, or whenever you are in the mood for tacos, or just, midnight snack or something. But just be careful around the stove. I wouldn't recommend letting a kid help with, cooking it unless you were supervising or something like that. Just be very careful. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you know that I cuss on my gaming channel. Yeah, a lot of those games are not kid-friendly anyways, so just don't let your kids watch it. Besides, I usually let the opening of the game show, so it shows the warning if there is any. If not, it'll probably show itself in there. So be careful, and always monitor what your kids play or watch, because you don't want your kids to, turn out bad or something. That's all I'm going to say towards the gaming thing. But yeah, taco rice. Yum! Enjoy! And I will probably make something different next week. You'll know when I start recording next week, or whenever it's up. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. Anyways, till next time, guys. Bye! Nom 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 nom.